Now let's resume with chapter number 5 summary notes. Please see here. We started off with SM process. Yes, that was the first one. There are totally 6. What happened? Now is it okay? Can we start? What are the 6 subtopics we saw under strategy, implementation and evaluation? First one. 6 subtopics are there under chapter number 5. Yes or no? The first mind mapping that we did. Do you remember anything? Yes. What is the first one? SM process. Second, strategic change through digital transformation. Third, organizational framework. Fourth, strategic leadership. Fifth, strategic controls, and the last one is strategic performance measure. Now here under SM process we saw what are the stages in SM process. The first one is vision, mission, objectives, environmental and organizational analysis. If you remember, environmental screening, organizational analysis. Formulating a strategy, there are 2 steps process for formulating a strategy: implementation of the strategy, strategic evaluation and control. This is stages in SM process. Then next we went to strategy formulation. Under corporate strategy we saw what is strategy planning and what is operational planning. What example did we see for what is strategy planning and what is operational planning? The example we saw in class was Zomato's example, like how Zomato is expanding into other businesses like district and all that is strategy planning, and giving the coupon code in the same Zomato app, that is operational planning. Now what is strategic planning, operational planning? What are the characteristics? This strategic planning shapes the organization and resources, assess the impact of environment. This is a holistic view. It develops overall objectives. This is a long-term success and it is a responsibility of the senior management. If you see operational planning on the other hand, it helps for current deployment of resources. It is more of tactics, not strategy. It projects the current, whatever is happening, into the future, any modification to business functions and responsibility of the functional manager. Now when Zomato is doing like this, what is Swiggy doing on the other side? They are doing all in one in the same app, that is called as strategic uncertainty. Uncertainty means anything can change. There can be a political change, there can be an environmental change, because a company when it's operating, everything is dynamic in the external environment. So if there is a strategic uncertainty, how is the company going to deal with it? Now this is going to talk about unpredictability of the future events, change in market, change in tech, change in competition, change in regulatory requirements and change in any other external factors. If it is like that, you will have to see whether it is flexible, how well the company has diversified, monitoring and scenario planning, building resilience, and what kind of collaborations that this company has done. The next we went to strategy implementation, that is the linkage between formulation and implementation. If both formulation and implementation is good, then we will say that it is like CSK, it will thrive. You saw how last match super it was. Pretty tears came. That level, it was so good. Like that it was. Both bad formulation and bad implementation means nobody can save them. Die quickly, you should tell. SRH and all example for you to remember. The next, good formulation is there, but bad implementation. Then they will somehow survive. Sala cup namde, something he will tell. Correct? E Sala cup namde, that is RCB. That means they will definitely survive because formulation is always good. Implementation somewhere it will not be good. Next, if formulation is bad, implementation somehow they are coming now, then it is called die slowly. Example? SRH for this only. Next, the difference between formulation and implementation. Formulation is what? Planning and decision making. Implementation is executing the plan. Force is before the action. This is managing force during the action. This is the action in itself, implementation. This is an entrepreneurial activity. This is an administrative activity. This focus on effectiveness. This focus on efficiency. Intellectual and rational process, on the other hand, it is operational process. Coordination among very few individuals at the top level. Here middle and lower level people. Many people will be there. Logical skills, analytical skills, motivation and leadership traits. What is first? Formulation is first, implementation is following. But there is also linkage between them. There is a forward linkage and a backward linkage. What are they going to talk in that forward and backward linkage? Forward linkage is basically from the strategy formulation, implementation is coming to that. What is backward linkage? When you're doing the strategy formulation, you will still see your past mistakes. If you remember, I spoke about your... What example did I give? In your preparation, when you are planning now, you will think about all the mistakes that you did in the previous attempt. So, past implementation also will affect your formulation. That is a backward linkage. Forward linkage is from the formulation only, implementation will happen. This is linkages. What is issues in strategy implementation? The strategy itself is not action, it is only a statement of intent. Formulation of different kinds of programs, and programs leads to formulation of projects. What is the sequential manner and issues in strategy implementation? Project implementation, procedural implementation, resource allocation, strategy implementation, functional implementation, and behavioral implementation. Example we saw for this. Goa trip, you are not able to go. Why? Because WhatsApp group is there, intent is there, but implementation is not there because money is not there, resource is not there, one person is not cooperating. Behavioral problems, behavioral implementation is there, structural implementation, functional implementation, procedural, project implementation, all of these are sequential manner of issues in strategy implementation. Next, strategic change through digital transformation. Now here what did we see? The first one is steps to initiate. First they have to recognize a need, like how our grandparents, this example if you remember, they also needs to recognize that they have to learn about technology. Steps to initiate, recognize a need for the change. Shared vision must be there with the employee. Institutionalize the change. In Kurt Levin's model of change, only 3 points: unfreeze, change and refreeze. Under change there are again 3 points: complaints, identification and internalization. How does digital transformation work? Transformation sonale, what transformation are we talking about? Six pack. I want to reduce 5 kgs. That is a transformation. Define the goal and objective. Assess the current state. Here it's six pack, here it's family pack. Roadmap for the change. Put what are the things that you will have to do: diet, exercise, 2 hours. Implementation for the change. After putting the plan, you also have to implement it. How does change management work? First you have to have a clear vision. You have to involve the stakeholders also. Otherwise you will be on diet means other people will be eating the chips in front of you, so you can't follow that. So involve the stakeholders also, plan for action, and then definitely you will see the results. Change management helps organizations to do what? To achieve the goals, for procedural tools, for planning, staffing and tracking the progress. These 5 points are there. Best practices for managing change in MSME. Multiple times we told this in class. Begin at the top. Change is both necessary and desired. Reduce disruption. Encourage communication. Change is only the norm and not an exception. Manage change through digital transformation. For this, what example did we see? Boyfriend, girlfriend is there, fight is there. If you go and tell them directly, they will not change. Follow the steps. First you specify the objectives. Always, always, always communicate. But once you communicate, they are going to be resistant to change, ready for resistance. Then you will have to implement the changes gradually. Also, offer assistance and training. Second part also done. What is the third one? Organizational framework. Under this, McKinsey's 7S model we saw. Under that, what and what elements are there? Hard elements and soft elements are there. Everything starts with S, strategy, system, structure, shared value, style, staff and skill. What are the limitations? I told you the 7S model is a waste model. Yes or no? Simply SS, he put something. So there are so many limitations. It does not count the external environment. There is no clear explanation for each of the models. It is more static, less flexible. It is missing real gaps in the environment. Organizational structure. What is this Chandler strategy? This Chandler strategy is like whom? Is it like Chandler from Friends? It is like S.J. Surya. However, what S.J. Surya will say? Vanda Sutta Setta repeat. Vanda Sutta Setta repeat. Same way, new strategy formed. Admin problem emerged. Organizational performance is declining. New organizational structure is getting established. Organizational performance improves again. New strategy formed. Then problem is emerging. Organizational performance declining. Again new organizational structure established. Organizational performance improves. Like that. It keeps going on like S.J. Surya. This strategy is called Chandler's strategy. Types of organizational structure. Where did we see that? Different types of structures are there. The first one, simple structure, where there is one owner and many people to execute. Example, tea stall and content creators, TikTok stars. Second is functional structure, where there will be one CEO, under him many multiple functions, and under him also multiple functions. So there are two levels here. The division, if you see, there will be one CEO and under him there will be multiple functions. Then under that there will be multiple divisions, and each of the divisions there will be again functions. So each division is going to have a divisional manager here. What example did we see for this? ICA, how they are having SIRC, NIRC, CARC, all that is different divisions, where each of the divisions is going to have multiple functions under them. So these divisions can be based on geographical area, it can be based on product or service, it can be based on customers, it can be based on process. What kind of customers and all, how can you keep as division? Say I am a publication company, I am printing books for colleges, schools, and for CA also, then those will be three different divisions. So customer base is also, I can have multiple divisions. The next is multi-divisional structure, where it's the same as above, where each division is identified as a separate business unit. This multi-divisional structure is also called as M-form structure, because there is a M which is being formed. What is the next one? SBU structure. This is the most important one, prevalent in these days, where instead of a CEO we saw that there is a president, and under him there will be multiple functions, and under that there will be multiple strategic business units. Strategic business units are units having their own cost center, their own profit center, they'll have their own competition, they will act like a separate business by themselves. Under each of the SBUs there can be multiple divisions. Example we saw for this is Tata. Say for example SBU2 is all the cars. That is a separate business in itself. Under that there is luxury cars, under that there is affordable cars also. Under SBU4, if you see textile, then under that there is West Side, under that there is Zudio division also. So this is the SBU structure. What is matrix structure? Nowadays everybody is using only matrix structure. Yes, because cross fertilization can happen. Everything is interlinked with everybody, where there is going to be a CEO, under him there will be production, sales, finance, R&D, again production, sales, finance, R&D, again production, sales, finance, R&D. If you see the production department as a whole, there is going to be a functional superior. All of these are called functions. So for each of the functions there is going to be a superior, and if you see like this, there is going to be a production manager. So everything is interlinked. How are they saying that cross fertilization happen? Say for example here number of people are less, he can take from this production unit also. It's not only this way. Till the previous one we only saw like this. Next one is network structure, where lots will be outsourced. Example for that we saw is Mind and Company and also Nike. So most of the functions will be outsourced here, so that they can focus on the design, marketing, brand. They can focus on their core. They don't have to focus on HR. They don't have to focus on admin and other things. What is hourglass structure? Hourglass structure is, it is like this. Top management there are multiple people. Lower management there are multiple people. In the middle there are very, very less. There is a narrow at the middle. Example for this, Spotify, I told you this is an example. What is the biggest limitation? People at the lower level, they will not be motivated, because promotions will be very, very less. This is hourglass structure. After this, what did we see? About organizational culture, whether it is an ally or obstacle to strategy execution. If it is compatible, then it is a ally. If it is a conflict, then it becomes a obstacle to strategy execution. Role of culture, perils of strategy culture conflict, creating a strong fit and change in problem culture. The next we have to see the fourth one, which is strategy leadership. Who is the best leader? Dhoni, MS Dhoni. So roles. What are the roles of strategy leadership? Stay on top of whatever is happening. Esprit de corps, that means team spirit must be high. He should be responsive to all the changes. He should be ethical, and collective action must be taken. Interrelationship of elements, we saw one round here where a leader has to know a little bit about each and everything. What are the responsibilities of a good leader? There are 7 points here. Make strategic decisions, policies and action plan. Communication must be good. Human capital, he has to manage all the change. He has to maintain the culture and increase the performance also. The next is approach in strategy leadership. There are two approaches, transformational and transactional. What is the difference between the two? If I am going to encourage you, inspire you, that is called as transformational. If I'm going to say I will give you a chocolate, you do your homework and come, that is called as transactional, give and take policy. So here also we saw the difference in table for transformational and transactional. Next is strategic control. What example here we saw? For control, who can control us in our lives? Parents will control us in our life. So what are the elements of strategy control? Parents, even though they are controlling, the objective is for us to be safe only. So the first one is objective. How are they going to monitor? How are they going to measure? Comparing deviations and getting new insights, feedback and corrective actions. What are the 3 types of strategy control? Operational control into the minute details, management control overall level. Next is strategy control, where they will see whether it has been properly implemented and whether the results have come. With that they will stop. Types of strategy control, there are 4 types. Premise control, strategy surveillance control, special alert control and implementation control. Under implementation control we have monitoring, strategic thrust and milestone review. With this, chapter number 5, strategic performance measure is there. Okay, where is that? Strategic performance measures. What are the types of strategic performance measure? Financial measures, customer satisfaction measure, market measure, employee measure, innovation measure, environmental measures. Please remember what we saw inside also. Under employee measure we saw employee turnover ratio. Financial measures we saw what is the return on investment. Like that, for each of this, under them there are points. Importance of strategic performance measure. You have to align with the goals. Resources must be allocated properly. Continuous improvement must be there, and there will be some kind of an external accountability because you will be telling the stakeholders, shareholders and all. Choosing the right performance measure. How will you get how will you choose what measure you will have to choose? What? 3 data and 1 relevance. If you remember, I told you relevance, data availability, data quality and data timeliness. Next is, that's it. With this, chapter number 5 in just 19 minutes comes to an end. Now coming to chapter number 4, strategic choices. Now under this, what are we going to see? We're going to see what is stability strategy. We're going to see what is growth or expansion strategy. Then we are going to see what is retrenchment strategy and how is combination. Then if nothing works, they are going to go for strategic exits. Under exits, we are going to see turnaround strategy, divestment and liquidation. Then strategic options, very, very important. 4 different options. Quickly, let's see the broad strategy. Now, when will any company go for stability strategy? It is pursued when similar market and similar product, most of the cases when they are in the maturity stage of the product life cycle, and this stability strategy is not a do nothing strategy. Now current business and product market maintains existing level of effort and satisfied with incremental growth. Here also there is going to be an incremental growth, that just that they are not pushing it very hard. What are the characteristics? Same business, same product, same market, same effort. It enhances the functional efficiency in an incremental way. It is not a redefinition of business. This is a safe strategy. It does not warrant fresh investments. Risk here is very low. You focus on building the core competency because you are focusing on existing resources. Modest growth objectives. Reasons: when they are at the maturity stage of product life cycle, when they are comfortable with the status already, low change, low risk. Environment, when it is stable, when you just want to stabilize whatever is happening and you want to consolidate all the resources, and it is not advisable to expand because it is perceived as threatening for somebody else. So this is stability strategy. The next is growth or expansion strategy, the opposite of that. There we saw it is not a redefinition of business, here it is a redefinition of business. There we saw no fresh investments, here there are fresh investments. Opportunities for stability strategy where rewards are very high, highly versatile strategy. There are two routes which you can go for, intensification and diversification. What are the reasons for stability strategy? When the environment demands increase in pace, there is pride and satisfaction. There is pride for top level management if they are working only in growth strategy or expansion strategy. More control over market versus the competitors. Advantage from experience curve and scale of operations. What are the two types of growth strategy? Intensification and internal and external. Under internal there is intensification and diversification. Under external there is mergers and acquisition and strategic alliance. What is intensification? Under that there are 3 points: market penetration, product development, market development. Here itself I have written the example which we discussed in class because you will forget. Market penetration means Starbucks loyalty program, because the same market, same product, they are just penetrating the market. Product development means iPhone, from how iPhone 1 to 16, it has developed the same product for the same market, but product has been developing from iPhone 1 to 16. The next is market development, where they are moving to a different market. Audi in China, how they changed the product, the way the product looked, because they are moving to a different market. Menu localization for McD, KFC, all this we already discussed in our concept revision class. The next, what is diversification? Concentric diversification, conglomerate diversification and innovation. Concentric diversification, it can either be vertical or horizontal. This vertical can be forward or backward. Example for forward and backward, do you remember? Coffee bean manufacturer having a cafe, that is a forward merger. Paramudur Chole going for farming practices, that is backward merger, because he's going behind in the value chain. He's moving away from the customer or towards the customer, is going to decide whether it is forward or backward merger. What is conglomerate diversification? Completely unrelated to the existing business. Example, Tata Steel is also there, Tata Consultancy Services is also there. Innovation. We saw that video also in class, Tesla self-drive video. It solves complex problem, high productivity, and it has the competitive advantage. Now under external, we saw what is mergers and acquisition and strategic alliance. Under mergers and acquisition, we again have horizontal merger, vertical merger, co-generic merger and conglomerate merger. What is horizontal merger? Lipton India and Brook Bond, both were competitors. They came together and they formed a new company, that is horizontal merger. Vertical merger, same forward and backward is there. Co-generic merger. Co-generic merger means similar products, related products or related process, they can have the merger. White goods, I already explained what is white goods. Fridge, washing machine, all of this is called white goods because initially it was only white in color. Now a person who is doing white goods, it is easier for him to get into kitchen appliances also, mixie, grinder, because already he has entered the kitchen. Next is conglomerate, again unrelated. Strategic alliance, we saw what is advantage and disadvantage. Advantage, you already know, economic, all of those things. Disadvantage, sharing is the only disadvantage, because usually they will not share certain information. Because there is a strategic alliance, they are forced to share that information. The next is strategic exits. What is the meaning of turn around? Turn around means you're just looking back and seeing what actually went wrong. Conditions or indicators for turnaround strategy: when there is a persistent negative cash flow, similar to these points are similar to SA 570 going concern implications. I told you, negative cash flow, uncompetitive product, uncompetitive service, market share is reducing, physical facility is not there, overstaffing, high turnover of employees, mismanagement. All of these are conditions or indicators to go for turnaround strategy. What is the action plan? 5 stages are there, yes or no? Stage number 1, assessment of the current problem. Stage 2, analyze the situation and develop a proper plan. Stage number 3, implement the emergency action plan. Here they'll talk about bleeding. Immediately you have to stop the wound from bleeding, all those things. Implement the emergency action plan. Restructuring the business and returning to normalcy. What are the elements for turnaround? Change must happen from top management, credibility building, neutralizing the external pressure, asset liquidation, identify quick payoff activity, quick cost reduction, revenue recognition, and better internal coordination. Reasons: no longer wishes to remain in the business. It could be made viable by way of divesting. Business acquired proves to be a mismatch at a later stage. Persistent negative cash flows. Competition if it is high. Technological upgradation. No money is there. Better alternative is available. Then you will not look at this strategy, will go for turnaround. Next is divestment. That means you're selling a part, sale or liquidation of a portion of business, not fully putting the shutter. That is reasons. Business which is acquired proves to be a mismatch. Persistent negative cash flow, competition, technological upgradation, no money is there. Characteristics, it is to be viewed as an integral part. Usually there will be stigma if you are going to sell out. I spoke about the example of Sri Krishna Sweets, 47 branches, only 5 are profit making, but still I did not ask them to shut down all the branches because there is a stigma involved. But ideally you have to look at this strategy as a pivotal for any kind of strategy management in the company, and there should not be any kind of stigma which is attached. Not only relevant for loss making business but also relevant for lower than expected growth or no future clarity or lesser than target profit. That means only loss making na mattuna you need to go for divestment strategy. It is not like that. Any kind of poor performance also you can go for. And what is that poor performance? Only those 3 points we saw. Next is liquidation. Example we saw was Kodak, where they will put the shutter and they will go. Next is strategic options. How many options did we see? 4 options, very easy. You just have to ask 2 questions. One is what by what matrix. The second is what is there in x-axis, what is there in y-axis. Then you will be able to tell everything by yourselves. The first one is answers product, market, growth matrix. Name itself has what is there in x-axis, what is there in y-axis. X-axis has products, y-axis has market, existing product, new product, existing market, new market. Same product, same market means it is called as market penetration. Example, Starbucks loyalty card. New product for existing market, product development, existing product, new market, market development, new product, new market, diversification. One example for all these 4 we saw. Gucci is an example which ICA material itself has given. Gucci usually sells luxury clothes. Gucci, if it starts selling casual clothing, that becomes a new product in Chinese market. They are actually from Europe. That is diversification, because new product, new market. Same clothes, luxury clothes in Chinese market. That is market development, because they're only moving to a new market, but they're selling the same product. To the existing European market, they start selling casual wear. That is product development, because to the same market they're selling a different product. Market penetration is existing product, existing market. The next is Arthur D. Little matrix. That is 4x5 matrix. On one side we had product life cycle, and on the other side we had competitive position. BCG growth share matrix. 2x2 matrix. On one side we have market share, one side we have growth rate. Market share is high, growth rate is high. Appadina it is called as star. TikTok stars, I told you as example, highly they are growing at a very huge space. Yes or no? The next is lower market share but high growth rate. They're growing at a very high speed, but still they have not captured the market. Example, VR, metaverse, and all of those things. Question mark. BR is written here. It is VR. VR and metaverse, it's still a question mark because they have not taken the market share, but they are growing at a extremely high space. Both are low. Aprina? Low growth rate and low market share. That is dogs. Example, floppy disk, they are out of the market. Cash cow is low growth rate, but they've already captured the market share. Example, MS Office, Google and all, they are basically the cash cows. You can generate a lot of money because of cash cows. General Electric matrix, also called as stop light strategy model. On x-axis we have business strength, and on y-axis we have market attractiveness. Here you will be doing that green, red, yellow or orange in between. In this there was orange, ADL matrix there is orange, and in this there is yellow, correct? What by what matrix is that? Stop light matrix. It is a 3 by 3 matrix. Diagonally there was yellow on one side, there was green, on the other side there was red. I just told you one rule. From red to green, when they are transiting, at least one cell must be in yellow or orange. Now here they can ask a question, how do you see what is business strength? Business strength is measured by all of these things. How do you see what is market attractiveness? Market attractiveness is measured by all of these points. If you remember in our class also, I told you this part is important, General Electric matrix. They can ask, how do you measure business strength? How do you measure market attractiveness? With this, chapter number 4 quick revision is done. Yes. Now let's quickly start off with chapter number 3, strategic analysis for internal environment. Now, what is this internal environment talking about? First, every company will have stakeholders within them. Who are the key stakeholders? Examples we are going to see, and how are you going to position each of the stakeholders you are going to see by way of Mendelow's matrix. Now I told you matrix is important. This also is another matrix. So there 4 matrix. Already Mendelow's matrix asked. It's okay. So examples and Mendelow's matrix. Mendelow's matrix is also called as power interest matrix. Power on y-axis, interest on x-axis. Both are high now. They will be called as key player. Okay, don't refer to this matrix. It is wrong. Wrong this is. Interest and power. They can ask in MCQ. What? Don't study. MCQ 1 mark, 2 marks they can ask. So high interest, high power is key player. Who are those people? Examples, board of directors, CEO, CFO and all of those things. Low power, low interest, then what will you tell them? You will low priority. That means examples, business magazines, media houses and all of those people. High power but low interest. They are not actually concerned or interested in the organization, but high power means you have to satisfy them, keep satisfied. Example, government, banks, all of those people. Employees are not here. Employees are really interested in the organization. High interest and low power, they are employees and you call them keep informed. This is Mendelow's matrix. The next is what is keep satisfied, key players, low priority and keep informed. Next one, strategic drivers. There are 4 kinds of strategic drivers which is there. Industry and market, customer, products or service and channels. What is industry and market? Under that only we saw something called as strategic group mapping. On x-axis and y-axis what is there? Range of products and reputation. You saw reputation, correct? So here you will be grouping the customers together. You will be putting them in different circles. Now the size of that circle is also going to show you what is the proportional revenue to the entire market as a whole. So the strategic group mapping is going to be done this way. What is an x-axis? Range of products. Here reputation is going to be there. Highest and different circles to show what is the percentage revenue to the total industry as a whole. Now this one has high reputation even though range is little low. It is not that great. Now if you see this one, lower reputation and small revenue with respect to industry also, but range of products is very high, definitely they will die very quickly. Like this you will have to analyze. This is called as strategic group mapping. This is helpful to identify one's position as compared to its competitors. Procedure for constructing strategic group mapping, you know, step 1, step 2, step 3, you already know. What is customer versus consumer? What did we see inside that? Who is actually the buyer of the product, who is actually the user of that product. User is called as consumer, customer is the buyer. Can there be a circumstance where customer itself is the consumer? Yes, there can be a circumstance where both can be customer and consumer. What is the example we saw for this? Baby diaper, ring, all of those things. Marketing strategy has to be in such a way that customer is satisfied and also consumer is satisfied. Under products or services, what did we see? New product pricing strategy, it has to be in customer centric approach. Reasonable margin over cost and increase in market share must be there. Then we saw what are the marketing strategies. Under marketing strategies, we started off with what is social marketing. Social marketing example, Lifebuoy, where they said you have to wash your hands, and this is a public service message. This is not an advertisement, but everywhere what they kept, Lifebuoy, Lifebuoy, Lifebuoy on all four sides, and they said if you want to purchase, go to Reliance Fresh. That also they had put. Next, augmented marketing. Apple, I showed you the photo of the Apple ecosystem, iPad, everything is there. Direct marketing, we saw in Amazon, what will they say? We are going to buy a jacket. They will say, similar customers purchase shoes, similar customers purchase the belt, full look they are going to show. That is direct marketing that they are going to do. What is this relationship marketing? Where they're building a relationship, they're building a community. Example, Nike is actually selling shoes, but there is also Nike running club, Nike training club. Free apps are given where you can find your community. Services marketing, very differently they had marketed for Airbnb. People marketing, who is that? Example, KFC Tata and Vasant & Co. Both are examples for people marketing. And any political leader, cricketers, all of them, they do personal marketing. Next is organizational marketing. Example, Maggie, because Maggie as an organization itself everyone banned, but still they revived themselves through just one notice saying lead is there everywhere, in the earth's crust it is there, in the air it is there, water is there, same way in the grains, food grains also it is there, like that it is there in Maggie. This is not harmful, like that they gave a service message. That is organization marketing. What is place marketing? Paris, Eiffel Tower proposal, all those things. Northern Lights, honeymoon, all that is place marketing. What is enlightened marketing? Dow, because they are focusing on long run and not on short run. Because in Dow marketing, if you see different kinds of people, black, white, brown, long hair, short hair, no hair, all those things will be there in curly hair. No hair also one girl was there. So like that they are, inclusivity is there for everybody. They are focusing only on the long run. Differential marketing, same company but for different products they are using different kinds of marketing techniques. Cadbury and 5-star. Yes or no? Cadbury, Dairy Milk and 5-star. Dairy Milk for doubles, 5-star for singles. Hindustan also, Fair and Lovely is also theirs. Dow is also theirs. So that is also differential. Synchro marketing. That means if there is a seasonal business, then if the season is low, if seasonal business, if the demand is low, at that time they will do some kind of marketing, because PVR, if you see, weekdays people will not go and see the movie, so they'll give bottomless popcorn, unlimited popcorn. Next is concentrated marketing, where you will see marketing only at specific places. Example, Rolex, where they'll only in tennis, where they will clap and see, they will only wear that Rolex watch and all. IPL dancing and all, they will not wear the Rolex watch. Next, de-marketing, opposite of marketing, where they're going to surge the prices. Where Uber, where there is high demand, they'll say 3x of the fare. Or you become marketing expert. Next is channels. There are 3 types of channels: sales channel, product channel and service channel. The next one is building core competency. Competency means what? Combination of skills and techniques. Core competency means combination of skills and techniques which makes the whole organization utilize the individual capabilities. Core competency areas can be by competitor differentiation, customer value, and whether you are able to apply to the other products. Criteria for building core competency: it has to be valuable, it has to be rare, costly to imitate and non-substitutable. Example, best example is ChatGPT. They built the core competency like anything. Now someone will say deep sync, something you will say. SWOT analysis is what? Strength, weakness, opportunity. The strength and weakness is internal, opportunity that it is external. Competitive advantage, sustainability of competitive advantage depends upon durability, transferability, imitability and appropriability. Now Michael Porter has multiple strategies. First one is cost leadership strategy, where for the mass market he is focusing on reducing the cost. First example, Decathlon, mass market, lowering the cost is cost leadership. Decathlon, McD, all of that is cost leadership strategy. Low cost competitive strategy aiming at mass market. Risks, people can easily imitate, and technological breakthrough, if it is there, it is a huge risk. What is the action? Prompt forecasting of demand, optimum utilization of resources, economies of scale, standardization of products. For that only I told you the McD example. Cost saving techniques, resistance to differentiation. If you see the McD burger, all will be same size only. You can have the compass and put the round also. Advantages for cost leadership and for differentiation. Same 5 points you're going to say, but inside it is going to change. What are the 5 points? Rivalry, suppliers, rivalry, buyers, suppliers, entrants and substitutes. What are the disadvantages for cost leadership? If you reduce the cost, a competitor also will reduce the cost, so they can imitate the cost reduction technique. It is success only if there is economies of scale, that is volume is high. It is expensive in the long run. Technology is the biggest threat. Next is differentiation strategy. Here also you are going to focus on the broad masses only, but you are going to focus on the quality of the product. Basis, product, pricing, organization. Example, Apple, product pricing organization. Now only we said Apple and I drew that diagram also, you're still not seeing. What are the actions? Offer utility, increase the performance, increase the quality, innovation, prices which are based on the uniqueness of the product and brand image. Advantages, same rivalry, buyers, suppliers, entrants and substitutes. What are the disadvantages? This uniqueness is difficult to sustain in the long run. Too higher price, then they will switch to the alternative. I myself told 1.5 lakhs iPhone means next time if they say 2 lakhs and all, I will shift to Pixel, OnePlus, something I'll shift. Differential fails if it is not valued by customers. If you feel why you are paying this 1.5 lakhs for iPhone, if you have that feeling, then differentiation strategy will not work. The next is focused strategy. Focused strategy can be of two types: focused cost leadership and focused differentiation strategy. How are you going to achieve this? Specific niche, superior skill, increasing the efficiency, and by way of innovative ways. What is the advantage for focused? Premium price and tremendous expertise. What is the disadvantage? Firm lacking in distinct competency. Example for focus strategy, we saw Rolls-Royce, Ferrari car, all of those things. I think I told Rolls-Royce in your class. Yes, like how they denied for Mallika Sharawat, Rolls-Royce example. Disadvantage, firm lacking in distinctive competencies. Costs are very high. In the long run, the niche and all will disappear. People will start copying. Best cost provider strategy. That means in the middle we saw there was one strategy. New model develop of all three strategies. More value for money. Low cost, increasing the quality. So here there are two ways you can achieve it. You see the competitors, what quality, what price they are doing. You are going to give the same quality and lower the price. Or you are going to give the same price with high quality. That is the best cost provider strategy. Achieving by lower price with comparable quality. Similar price with increasing quality. With this, wow notes of chapter number 3 comes to an end. Welcome back after the long commercial break. Keep those photos away. Excuse me. Come back to class. Come back to SM. We have to do chapter number 2. Strategic analysis for external environment. Now under this, what and all did we see? The first part. Hello. Listen here. The first part we saw what is strategic analysis. Under that the issues to consider. Under that there are 3 points. Strategy evolves over a period of time. Balance of external, internal and risk. Under each of the things there is also sub points. Under strategy evolves over a period of time. Balance of external, internal factor and risk. Under that each point is there. Now what is this matrix which is given here? Strategic risk matrix. Now on x-axis there is time and on y-axis there is strategic risk. Now this time is going to be short time or long time and risk is going to be internal risk or external risk. Strategy identification and selection. If you remember in our material there is a box and just 4 points, small points will be given, and I told you if it is in a box that means it is extremely important. So identification and selection, identify strategy alternative, select the strategy, implement the plan and review the the strategy. This is the first part, strategic analysis. The second is strategic and business environment. What is the definition of business environment? All external factors or influences or any kind of situation that is going to affect the business decision plan and operation. Does environment help the business? Yes, definitely it helps the business. A business operates in the environment only to determine the opportunity and threat, direction for the growth, continuous learning, image building, and meeting the competition. These 5 points are how does the environment help the business. Categorization of external environment is micro and macro. Micro is the, what is the keyword? Immediate periphery. Micro is the immediate periphery and macro is factors of firm which lead to opportunities and threat. Macro is only PESTLE analysis, and immediate periphery, the employees, existing customer, suppliers, local community, and people who are giving the finances. All of these 5 will come under the immediate periphery, that is the micro external environment. What is internationalization of business? Characteristics of a global business. Now for this, what example did we take? For a global business, McD. Characteristics of a global business. First one is it is a conglomerate of multiple units. There is a common pool of resources and there will be a common strategy. What is the steps in international strategic planning? Evaluate the global opportunities and threat. What is the scope? What is the objectives? And develop the strategy. International environment can be of 3 types: multinational environment analysis, regional environment analysis, and country environment analysis. The next is understanding the product and industry. Under that we have characteristics of product, whether it is tangible or intangible, price, delivery satisfaction, whether it is pivotal to the business, and what is a useful life. Under that we saw what is product life cycle: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Value chain analysis, there are 2 activities, primary and support activities. Under primary we have inbound logistics, transform input into output, outbound logistics, marketing and sales and service. Support activity is easy for procurement, tech, HR, and infrastructure. The next one we went to industry and environment analysis. Under that we saw who is Porter's 5 force model. What are the 5 force model? Threat of new entrants, bargaining power of buyer, bargaining power of supplier, nature of rivalry in the industry, and threat of substitutes. Under each of the points there are again sub points. Threat of new entrants, a person who is entering now only, there is a capital requirement. Economies of scale, if we are enjoying, then he cannot enter. Product differentiation, if we are giving, and to switch to my product to his product, there is a switching cost if that is high. Brand identity, access to distribution channel, possibility of aggressive retaliation. This is threat of new entrants. Bargaining power of buyer. Buyer has the full knowledge. There can be big buyers and he will easily switch to the substitutes. Bargaining power of supplier. Now the person who's giving, he is having the bargaining power because that products are crucial for my manufacturing. Substitutes are not available. I cannot shift it. High switching cost I will have to incur even if I switch it, and more concentrated than the buyers. Nature of rivalry in the industry. Rivalry means it's talking about the competition. There will be somebody called industry leader, and if there is a lot of fixed cost which is already involved and now I am the leader, for somebody to come inside it becomes a problem. Number of competitors, exit barriers, product differentiation, slow growth. Threat of substitute, latent source of competition in an industry. Next is attractiveness of industry, experience curve, and value creation. What is experience curve? It is also akin learning curve. So it is also called as learning curve, where the curve shows that if you keep increasing your number of output, your cost keeps reducing. So your cost per unit keeps on reducing. That is only the experience curve. Efficiency increased, gained by workers through repetitive work. Value creation, in this only we saw that cost, price, and value gained by the customer. It's called consumer surplus. Concept of consumer surplus or customer surplus. Profitability depends on 3 factors, which is value, price, and cost. Market and consumer. What is customer behavior? External influence, internal influence, decision making, and post decision process. For this, what is the example we saw? No, Vijay movie. Vijay movie is the example we saw. External influence, internal influence, decision making, and post decision process. 10 times you can see the movie. Competitive strategy. Steps to understand a competitive landscape. First, you will be competitive landscape. Niketa, you will come here. Market and consumers, customer behavior Niketa, you will come here. Don't get confused. Competitive landscape Niketa, identify the competitor, understand the competitor, what is the strength of him, what is the weakness of him. Now I'll put all the information together. I will try to convert his weakness as my strength. What is key success factors? There are 3 questions. Product attributes, that is on what basis do customers choose between a competing brand, that is a product attribute. Second, what is the capability of the resources? Next is sustainable competitive advantage. This is the quick warm note revision of chapter number 2, external environment. Now the last one, chapter number 1, easy chapter. Now what and all are there in this chapter? Let's first do the mind mapping with the warm notes. We first saw what is strategy. Then we went to what is management. Then we went to strategic management, importance of strategic management. Then the levels or limitations of strategic management. Levels of strategic management, what is SBU and all, little bit we saw here. Then what is strategic intent, vision, mission, goals, objectives, values. Then why mission, characteristics of objectives, what is this long-term objectives. Then there is one more. That's it. Network of relationship. That's it. Very small chapter. Quickly let's finish off. We actually started our concept revision with this chapter only, where you kept repeating it again and again and again. Yes, sir? We saw this chapter itself for 3 hours. The first time when we did the concept revision. 3 hours. Now, let's start off with what is management, because that's the order we did also. What is management? Who is the best manager that we know first? Mother. It is a key group in an organization in charge of affairs. It is the chief organ. Integrates disorganized resources of man, money, material and tech. 3MT, if you remember. It is a set of interrelated functions and process of planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. It ranges from control, MAD goals. What is MAD? Mobilization of resources, allocation of task and design of organization. Next is strategy. The strategy is always with the external environment. The strategy gives the goals and the means to achieve the goals. It is a game plan for COMA. What is COMA? Compete successfully, conduct its operations, objectives, market position, attract and satisfy customers. Didn't even touch the chapter number 1. Thought it's easy and no one studied. Correct? You studied? Okay. Game plan for COMA. Attract and satisfy the customers. Yes. Next is long range blueprint of 3D. What is 3D? Desired image, direction and destination. This is one chapter which has multiple mnemonics. Conscious and flexible design for DHAM. What is DHAM? That is H. D. To direct human efforts is, oh yes, that is only D. Direct human effort. H is handle events and problems. U is utilize the opportunities. M is mobilize the resources. Another M is to meet the competition. To meet the challenges and the threats. Integrated framework for SWOT analysis. Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. This is not a substitute for responsible management. Partly proactive, partly reactive. The current strategy flows from past actions and new decisions. It stitches together the proactive and the reactive strategy. I told you there are 10 points for strategy and just 3 points for what is management. Will they ask direct question, what is strategy? What is management? Till now we did not see any question like that, correct? If they ask, you're lucky. You should be able to write all 10 points. The SM process, it is a managerial process of developing a strategic vision, setting objectives, crafting a strategy, implementing strategy and evaluating. What is the mnemonic for this? Voices. What is voices? Vision, objective, crafting a strategy, implementing a strategy, evaluating a strategy. S is for strategy. So that is voices. The next is objectives, to get a competitive advantage and guide through changes in the environment. What is the importance? Important, this is, we saw question also. Importance gives the direction, proactive more than reactive, framework for all major decision making, face the future and act as pathfinder, corporate defense mechanism, enhance the longevity, core competencies and competitive advantage. The next is levels. There are 3 levels: head office level, division level and functional level. This business functions is called the functional level. The divisions is called the business level. You should not get confused between the business level and the business functions, which is given here. These divisions can also be called as SBU. SBU means what? Company provides several products where duplication of functions can happen. Functions are production, sales, HR, finance, operating, logistics. All of those things are functions. Now there is a relationship between functional and divisional relationship, horizontal relationship and matrix relationship. Horizontal relationship means a flat structure. Matrix relationship means grid-like structure. There is a top-down approach and bottom-up approach. Then going to strategic intent. Intent means the purpose. Why have they formed the company? Vision is the blueprint of the company's future position. Mission is who we are, what we do. What business firm undertakes, it defines the present capabilities, present activities, present customer focus, and what is the role in the society. What is the goal? That is the end result. Objective, it is a time-based measurable target. Objective means it is related to time. Values means ethics, the deep-rooted principles. What is essentials of a strategic vision? The vision has to be creatively done, keeping the company's future position. It is an exercise in intelligent entrepreneurship. It creates enthusiasm among the members, and this gives a direction for the organization in which it is headed. Why do you require a mission? Unanimity of purpose, organizational resources, whether they are allocated properly and used properly. This gives the general tone of the organizational climate. This is the focal point. Facilitate translation of objectives and goals into a proper work structure, and it controls the cost and time. Objectives. What are the characteristics of objectives? What is objective? It is the end result. Organization's relationship with environment, achievement of mission and purpose, standards for performance appraisal, concentrate and specific, related to a time frame, measurable and controllable, challenging, and you are able to correlate. Now this objectives, what is long-term objectives? Profitability, productivity, competitive position, public responsibility, employee development, employee relations, technological leadership. How many points are there? 7 points are there. Are we done with everything? Yes? Very easy chapter. Hardly 7 minutes. Chapter number 1 fully complete.